So this is actually my personal foam roll. I really like the 36 inch, so the full 3 feet. They come in all shapes and sizes. They come in all colors as well. Usually a white one is going to signify not quite as much density. The darker the color, usually the more dense the foam roll. I like the 36 inch personally because I feel like you can do more on it. And I will demonstrate one exercise that's my absolute favorite that you just cannot do on a short foam roll. So if you have questions about what kind of foam roll to buy, where to buy one, let me know that as well. And then the other handy dandy tool is just our little lacrosse ball. We have some here if you need some, depending how the rest of the world goes here in the next few days. But we do have some here. They're easily ordered on Amazon and places like that as well. So the first thing I'm going to demonstrate for you guys is kind of what I usually do for thoracic mobility. I do this kind of daily basis sometimes, depending on how much I'm exercising, but it just feels good also. Even as a physical therapist, I am forward a lot with the things I do throughout the day. So for a person that works at a desk, on a computer, even film people, things like that, this is a really good series to do just to open your chest, get things moving in the back. It takes a lot of pressure off of your neck, low back. It's just a really good stress reliever too, because this first thing and movement I'm gonna show you, you can lay there for 5 minutes if you want to. So to stretch the pecs, you're gonna get on your foam roll. And the biggest thing is you want both your tail and your head to both be on the foam roll. You don't want either one hanging off because it's not good for your spine or for your neck. So I've got both head and tail there. And I'm just gonna let my arms just open up and lay here. So right now I feel a little bit of stretch through here. If I want to bring my arms down a little bit, I may feel a different stretch. If I bring them up some, I feel it change a little. I get a little more pressure into my mid back there. So it just kind of depends on what you feel. This is not a textbook movement where you put your arms wherever you want to find the best stretch that works for you. My only thing to tell you is if you start feeling tingling in your fingers, then you should probably move your arms a little bit because you're getting a little more tension through your nerves than what you need. So I'll lay here 2 to 5 minutes, depending on how long I need to feel like things have relaxed. And then I'm gonna do what I call scissor arms. So I'm just gonna take one arm at a time, nice and slow, let that stretch, and then switch to the other one. The bonus of this is that my core is having to work so that I don't fall off my foam roll. So you get a little added bonus. So I usually do about 10 on each arm of that, and then I'm gonna do some snow angels. So I'm gonna try to trace my fingers along the floor and keep my hands touching as best as I can. And what is happening here is the foam roll is acting as a lever pushing up as my shoulder blades are rotating. So I'm kind of getting a little self-massage back there. Feels real good. And I'll do about 10 of those, about this speed, just kind of slow and controlled, and just really taking advantage of getting more mobile. So once I've done that, then I'm going to get off of my foam roll and I'm going to turn it. Depending on how stiff I am, sometimes I do what I call thoracic crunches. So if you're like me and you have long hair, make sure you're getting it up because it's not comfortable to roll over your hair. So you want to take a little bit of back and then come back up. Nice and gentle, always support your head and neck. And then you can kind of roll down to your next spot. Sometimes you might get some pops, sometimes you don't. Just depends on the day, depends on how stiff you are. So I'll work my way on up my spine. Your biggest rule of thumb here, you can only put the foam roll where you have ribs. So females, if you imagine where your bra line is, a couple inches below that. Males, it's gonna be kind of that bottom part of your rib cage. You don't wanna go too much below that, just for sake of your lumbar spine. So after I've done that and I've worked my way up, then I'm gonna go ahead and lift and I'm actually gonna roll on out. And again, you wanna only go to the top of your shoulder blades and back to that place where you have ribs, so just below that bra line. And I just got a nice little crunch. What I typically do is as I'm coming down, I'm gonna flatten out. As I roll myself up, I'm also gonna kind of curl up and flex in the meantime. What that's doing is opening the vertebrae to allow for a little bit more mobility and a little extra stretch in the thoracic spine. So while I have my foam roll here, the other thing I want to demonstrate for you guys is if you're going to do one leg and you're going to roll the quads. I have a little pet peeve. You hear about everybody saying, roll your IT band. Please don't roll your IT band. The IT band is actually a non-contractile tissue. What that means is it doesn't have any elastic property. Your IT band itself is not gonna actually give. Now, your quads, however, you've got quad in the front, but then this big lateral quad muscle actually is in front of and extends behind your IT band just a bit. So when you're rolling it, you wanna be, right now I'm on my bony bump on the side of my thigh. You don't wanna be there either. You only wanna roll up to that point because there's a bursa there. And if you've ever heard anybody talk about trochanteric or hip bursitis, you don't wanna get that, and you'll give yourself that by rolling over it with your foam roll. So you wanna rotate yourself forward just a bit to be off of that IT band. My other big pet peeve with foam rolling is you see people oftentimes just roll and roll and roll and roll. You're gonna make your tissues really angry doing that. So what you wanna do is I usually start the foam roll more down towards my knee to where I can roll myself more down. And as I go, I'm gonna slowly go and I'm gonna find a tender spot and I'm gonna hold it there. And true myofascial release, what should happen is as I hold myself there, then as my muscle releases, then I'm just gonna slowly start to rotate and just roll on down that foam roll. And your body will do that naturally. You don't have to force that. If you're holding your tender spot and it is really tender, then back off of it a little bit. Hold more weight into your arms. Try to relax your muscle as best as you can. And if you don't feel like the muscle's releasing after holding that position for, 2-3 minutes, then come off of it. Give it a break. Don't make it angry. Don't bruise it. It's not worth it. You'll be able to build up tolerance to this the more that you do it. It's gonna start out really tender. So what I do sometimes if my quad's extra tight and extra tender, I just bring my foam roll on top instead of having my body weight on my leg and just work using my arms to find that tender spot and do some self-release this way. It works just the same. It's just not as aggressive. So then the other thing I wanted to demonstrate for you all is hip flexor rolling. So you want to use your lacrosse ball for this. It's gonna go on your belly. So usually you want the foam roll to be, so if you imagine your hip bone here, you want to bring the foam roll your lacrosse ball just inside that. And then you're gonna work to where you're on your belly, on that spot. You wanna be gentle with this. Just inside of where this ball is a nerve, a vein, and an artery, and very important ones. So if you lay down on your ball and you start to feel it pulse on top of it, move your ball, please, because you are closing off that big femoral artery that's real important to the rest of your leg, and you don't wanna damage that. So sometimes you can come just a little bit further. So I'm rolling away from the ball, and you can release there as well. You can also bring it a little higher, just inside the corner of that hip bone, and then you're a little bit more on your psoas, and that's real tender actually. And you can release in there too. Again, the big thing to keep aware of, one, that you're not creating any numbness and tingling going down your leg. Two, if it's pulsing, get off of it. And that's about the bigger things that I think I needed to demonstrate for you. Again, if you have any questions about any of this, all of us are available here to answer any questions. There's great videos, great resources online to show you any other techniques. Just keep in mind, you don't foam roll fast. You always try to hold your spot and let it naturally release. And then if it pulses, get off of it. All right, so thanks guys, and hopefully we'll see you soon.